Coach, through 2 weeks, what are you most happy about from what you've seen from your defense?
Yeah, I think number one is the growth and development. You're just seeing guys. I thought we took a step in the right direction this past week, and we got to continue to do that as Memphis approaches.
What's the thin line that your players walk with the aggressive nature of the defense you play, but also a couple times in a game when it goes to the review booth for the possibility of a hit to the head?
Sure, obviously those things are things that just can't occur in the football game. You can absolutely be aggressive, Scott, without targeting. And that's what we teach. We work on that daily in practice, is making sure that we're in the strike zone with how we tackle, how we approach and take space and do all those things when it comes to tackling. So I think you can absolutely be aggressive and not target. And we're going to continue to coach our guys in that manner.
What's the advantage, do you think, of having a bye like this after a couple of weeks where you can go over some things during a week before you throw a full game plan in for a team like Memphis?
Always the advantage is more time. To get good playing football, you got to play football. So, and to be good at football, you got to be able to practice it, and it just gives us more practice opportunities for us to continue to improve. And that's not just the starters, that's the twos, that's the threes, that's the fours, that's everybody on the football team. The more you do anything, the better you get at it, and that's what we're looking to do.
And how have your depth players been responding? The guys that have been coming off the bench, being put into situations in games. They've been doing it in practice, but now you've seen them for a couple of games doing it actually when the bullets are flying.
Sure, I think we got a lot better from week one to week two. Was not happy how we performed at the end of the Bucknell game, and obviously we gave up some yardage at the end of the Temple game as well. But I think they did a better job responding and came back and got 2 takeaways and played more our style of football. And as a coach, it's rewarding to be able to get guys out there that are grinding in practice and working hard in practice, and then they get a chance to go out there and perform. And it's great for them to be in that atmosphere, play those games, play the game, play those plays, be able to go back at the tape, look at it, see how they can do better. I think it's just an opportunity for us to continue to grow individually and as a unit.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Scott.
Flagged.
Hey, PJ, I wanted to ask you right off the bat about Ira. He made a mistake in the first game by biting, but in the second game, he was much better, and I thought he set the tone on the first play of the game when they threw that little quick out to the speedy receiver. He was right there to drop him for a 3-yard loss.
Agree with you. He certainly set the tone for the football game. That was something that we talked about defensively, is that we needed to come out and play on edge, just play our style of football. And I think he jumped out right off the bat and sort of set the tone for the entire football team on how we wanted the day to go. I thought it was awesome. He's a young guy that's really talented, and I think he's just going to get better and better the more opportunities he gets to get out there. There's a ton of stuff for him to learn from the game, good and bad. And I'm super, super excited about him. I think he's got a chance to be a phenomenal player here.
What does he bring to the table that you like so much?
Well, speed, length, physicality. He does a lot of different things at corner that we can take advantage of. I think he's a guy that can run and cover. I think he's a guy that can tackle in space. He may be the best guy we have on the football team in terms of attacking the football as well. You saw the white stripe that he knocked out, the forced fumble that he knocked out in the pinned in situation, and then he did the exact same thing when they caught the ball on the goal line on the third down stop that led to a 4th down stop after a big play. And anybody on the defense wasn't shocked by that, because that's what he does in practice every day. That's the way that he practices, and we just got to keep the fire hot with him and keep him growing he's got a chance to just, like I said before, be a phenomenal player here that does a lot of different things at corner.
So does it speak volumes that he sees the starting job away from a guy who was a returning starter who, as you mentioned, I think in a few weeks ago, you said that Duhart didn't do anything wrong. Ira just performed better.
Yeah, I think it does speak volumes for him, in the work that he's putting in, the talent that he has, the way that he's performing. And we still have a immense amount of faith in Andrew Duhart. And like I said, then it had nothing to do with anything that Duhart did. It just, Ira is playing really, really good football and playing very detailed football. And I think he's just got an opportunity to get better and better. And with this crew that we got coming in here, we need our corners to play better and better. You know, we need we need everybody to play better and better. We got to take a big jump forward this week.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Wags.
Ira also ran down the USC track star that saved another touchdown as well.
Yeah, there was some elite eat on that play. Colin Ramos, Jackson Campbell, and Ira were great displays of elite eat right there.
Pete.
PJ, doing something on Colin for the Sports Magazine show this week. I mean, as I asked Brian yesterday, we sometimes run out of adjectives to describe how a guy plays, but a guy now, even into a senior season, seems to have hit the ground with elite leadership, elite example out on the field. He goes and gets you 15 tackles in a game that you know is going to be physical based on the way Temple has played in the past. Just thoughts on the way he has attacked this season, and obviously his effort here in the first two games, that you're asking him to be a leader, and he's more than giving you that from an example standpoint.
I think leadership role he's excelled in, and it wasn't probably the easiest thing for him to be at the front of the room and have people look at him and have to address them and things like that. And he's taken the bull by the horns there and really excelled. He's always been a guy that, you know, leads by example, does things the right way, and that's how his influence has been on other people. But you know, when you're the captain of the United States Naval Academy football team, you know, you're going to have to speak, and you're going to have to address people. And I think he's done a phenomenal job with that. And sometimes less is more in those situations. So when he does speak, people listen because he's so respected from not just his peers, but just everybody associated with this program. And I'll say it time and time again. I'll shout it from the rooftops. The thing that makes Colin Ramos so special is that everything's important to him. Every meeting, every lift, every run, every rep at practice, every drill, everything's important. Like, he goes out there, we talk about it in our room a lot, is that you got to go out there and try to do things better than you've ever done them before and not be complacent. And he tries to go out every day at practice and tries to do it better than he's ever done it before. And that's why he's able to continue to get better and better and better and continue to perform at a high level this year.
I asked Brian yesterday too the same question, and I almost wonder if you have guys now that almost fear the loaf. They don't want a coach in a meeting room to ever say, hey, we registered you for a loaf on a play. I'm watching Landon Robinson run plays down 10 yards down the field. You mentioned the play, obviously, where multiple guys just wouldn't let Allen get to the end zone on that particular play. Do you almost think there's a fear of the loaf that a lot of these guys have, and that's the one thing they never want to hear in a meeting room?
Absolutely. If you're loafing, you're playing for the other team. That's how we view that. And it's really simple. It's up in all of our meeting rooms what the criteria of a loaf is, and it's staring them right in the face. And guys know that if you give anything less than 100% from snap to whistle, that's a loaf, and loaf equals traitor. And that is not a term used lightly around here.
I would say. Take me inside your view of the Deshaun Peel hit on the quarterback. Yes, it looks like a massive, collision, for lack of a better term. Don't want to, use anything greater than that. But is it not exactly what you teach? Head up, face mask forward, and basically let him know you're there in that situation. Because I mean, I understand why it gets reviewed because it's a big hit, but when you look at the totality of the play, isn't that exactly what you teach in that situation? And a guy executes it perfectly.
Yeah, I thought Deshaun did a great job right there. Obviously, you don't want to put yourself in those situations where it does go to review. But I thought he did a great job, and I think it was a little bit of an awkward play. And I don't know if everybody even noticed because Colin Ramos is rushing off the edge and strains and actually knocks the ball out of the grasp of the quarterback, and really Deshaun knocked it back to him.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things that ended up being a little bit fortunate for them that it wasn't a fumble. But I thought he came in there with speed and aggression. He didn't lower his head. He didn't launch. And I thought he did a great job right there. And it was a tremendous hit.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Scott.
Coach, what's the challenge in recruiting players out of Don Bosco to get a Colin Ramos to come to the Naval Academy, to go to the prep school and to develop and get to the point where he is now?
I think the thing with recruiting Ramos was, he doesn't necessarily pass the eyeball test that everybody wants from an FBS linebacker. And you have to be willing to step out of your box and step out of the comfort zone of what you view, athletically what they look like in terms of the size, the measurables, all those types of things. He possesses a lot of the intangible things that you can't really measure. And, the league they play in is excellent. It's excellent football. And one of the things that really stuck out to me and Jason McDonald, who did an amazing job recruiting Colin Ramos, was that there was a lot of Power 5 at the time players in that conference, and he was the player of the year in the conference. So there's nobody that knows better players in the area than high school coaches. Like that is time tested and true in what we do recruiting wise. Like that, high school coaches want to win football games. They want to put the ball in their best players' hands, and they want to keep the ball away from the good players on the other teams. So when you have high school coaches that in a phenomenal conference there that vote a guy player of the year in the conference with all the talent that's there, as coaches, we got to listen to that. We got to really dive into that. And the more and more you got to know Colin Ramos, the more and more you got around him, his family, you knew that he was tough, he was smart, he played football the right way, his film was exceptional. And yeah, maybe he's not maybe he doesn't have the measurables that everybody wants, but he's got the skill set and the work ethic that everyone wants, and then some. And that's it's been really rewarding to see him continue to grow here. It's been really rewarding to see him grow as a leader, how respected he is from his peers. And we just anticipate him continue to get better and better, Scott.
Thank you.
Wags.
PJ, Coach Newberry said you were kicking yourself about the game plan against Temple last year when Warner picked you apart. You weren't able to get any pressure on them, no sacks, no hurries. They ran, kind of tried to do the same thing, short passing game. And this time around, the game plan was very sound. Can you talk about, without giving away state secrets, kind of how you changed and why you think the defensive game plan worked so well this time around?
I'd love to take a bunch of credit for it. I did a crappy job last year, and we didn't play very well. And we didn't do a ton of different things this past year. I thought the players just executed and played a heck of a lot harder and with an edge. I have to 1,000% say it was the guys out on the field Saturday, and I thought they did an excellent job. I thought they came out, like you mentioned before, set the tone. We played on edge. We attacked. We solved our problems with aggression. I thought everybody just did their job for the most part. There's always things to clean up. There's always more meat left on the bone, all those types of things. But it's not necessarily what we do, it's how we do it. And how we did it on Saturday was more along the lines of how we expect to play football here.
A guy who early on has, been pretty good at getting in the backfield and causing some havoc, getting after the quarterback is Justin Reed. How would you evaluate Jay Reed's performance to date?
He's a stud. I mean, he's a really, really good football player. And he's well coached. Coach Hall does an amazing job with him. Justin plays really hard. He's strong. He's athletic. He's sound with what he does. He plays defensive line the right way. I mean, he moves his feet. He strikes. He can rush the passer. He can defend the run. He's a guy that allows us to do a lot of different things with our defensive end position. He's an excellent football player, an amazing young man. Everybody on this football team absolutely loves Justin Reed. I mean, he is a guy that just lights up the room with his enthusiasm, the way he goes about his business, his work ethic. I could not say anything negative about him. Not in the way he plays, not in the way he practices, the way he performs. He plays the right way, and he makes the big time splash plays, and he makes the down and dirty plays, like, and everything in between. He's a guy that does it all for us out there.
Was talking to Coach Dewberry about this yesterday. The penalties, still too many.
Yeah, we've got to be better. We jumped off sides, can't happen. We face masked, can't happen. Some of the other things, are aggression type deals, but I view the face mask can't happen. Like that's stuff that just our technique is off there, and we've got to be lower. That's not good enough. And then obviously all the anything pre or post snap is nothing less than unacceptable. So we had our deal with that yesterday, and we got to get that cleaned up moving forward. We can't afford to give anybody free yards. Zero. Anything more than zero is unacceptable, and that's how we operate.
Last thing for me, real quick. I'm doing this feature on Marcus Blazard. What special teams units is he on?
Let's see. He's on kickoff and punt right now, I believe.
Return or coverage?
No, punt coverage. Punt coverage.
And kickoff.
He may be on punt return as well. I'd have to check with Ricky on that. But he's definitely on kickoff, and he's definitely on. I believe he's got on the depth at all four, to be honest with you, Wags.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
PJ, you and I have talked about, base defenses and how they've changed through the years. You were talking about it with Colin. When you look at what a John Marshall accomplished as a pass rusher, when you look at what, guys like Luke Pierce, Jackson Campbell are starting to do themselves, measurables are great. You'd love to have them, but are we really buying more now the football player tape? And maybe we're willing to look past an extra inch, a couple of pounds, a couple of tenths in terms of how fast you run in a straight line. If a guy exhibits what you want as a football player and brings the kind of traits you think can be a successful football player and what you're trying to do.
We just had a long recruiting meeting defensively today, and we talk about these things quite a bit. We have certain profiles at every position that we're looking to accomplish, and really how it goes, Pete, is if you fall outside of those measurables, then you have to do something outstanding for us to take you, to be out of profile. And we'll have a few guys that are out of profile as we, go through recruiting. The big thing you don't want a team full of guys out of profile. You don't want to be a super small team. You want to make sure that you're getting guys that fit the size parameters. But some guys, we just talked about a guy today that in recruiting that falls out of profile. But I mean, he's exceptional with what he does on the field and makes a ton of plays. So we're going to go on him. Again, you don't want a team full of it, but they're out there. And I think as recruiting's sort of changed and it's been fluid and it's different in different parts of the country, there's more and more high school players that are available for us. And the transfer portal it's sort of always changing, and it looks like they're going to go to one big, portal moving forward. And, it doesn't really affect us too much here, but what it does do is it gives us more and more opportunity to recruit high school players. And it's on us as coaches to go out there and turn over every, rock and stone and find the guys that not just look pretty, but play pretty too. Like guys that can play the game the right way. And pretty is probably not the right word for that, but they look the part and they can play the part. And they're more and more coming available for us. And I think the last few classes, we've been able to start to hit on, guys that it's very simply put. I know you hear Coach New talk about it. I talk about it, they're just OKGs. We call them our kind of guys. They're guys that are smart. They're guys that are tough, and they're guys that love football. Like that's what we're looking for, regardless of the size profile.
Obviously you're very familiar with this upcoming foe, and we'll get more in depth into it next week, but getting a game and game tape with this particular opponent they're playing coming up, where you're likely to see a little bit more than maybe what you've seen over the first couple of weeks. Is that advantageous, getting that extra, game now to be able to look at and just go back and say, check all the boxes. Yeah, they're still doing this. They're still doing this. And, oh, they added that. And it was successful in particular, this coming weekend.
Absolutely. Football is a information gathering business. That's what we have to do. So the more and more information we can gather, generally the better for us. And there will always be something new. They do a great job, and everybody in this conference does a great job. There's always going to be a new wrinkle off of things they've shown previously, and it's chess, not checkers. So they may be thinking you're going to do this and they want to do that, or they're thinking you're going to do that and they want to do this. Like it's tough, but that's why we talk to the guys. Like our fundamentals are so critical, and that's the thing. There's playing great defense. It's a bunch of job swapping going on all over the field. So whether we're doing this or that, we're swapping this guy's job with that guy's job, or we're giving this look and then we're doing that. We got to play with great fundamentals. Our tackling, our block destruction, the way we attack the football, our communication, like those things have to continue to improve and for us to get to where we want to go.
Awesome. Appreciate it, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone have anything else? All right.
Yes.
Thanks a lot, Coach.
No, I have
Appreciate
one
y'all.
more.
Go ahead, Waz. One more. Go ahead.
What does it mean to have a punter like Riley Reithman who's pinning opponents down on their 2-yard line, their 9-yard line? Average starting field position for Temple was their 22-yard line. I mean, Reithman, I could tell, I think the second punt that he pinned him down on the 9-yard line that led to a safety, you could see him very carefully make sure he hit that up really, really high, but not so long enough that it would go in the end zone. He's not worrying about his punting average. He's worrying about putting his defense in a good position.
Yeah, he's a weapon. I mean, we've got a ton of faith in Riley. I think it's a big deal for us to control field position like that. And Coach New talked about it with the staff going, through game plan prep, is that we've got to win the hidden yardage battle I think our special teams units responded in that manner. I think Coach Brown, Coach Palmer, Coach Yokitis, all the coaches on special teams, and the Riley and the guys that are on special teams did an amazing job. I thought the kickoff team was excellent as well, and really responded. And several of those were inside the 20. It's going 90 yards, going 85 plus yards, going 80 yards in college football is challenging, and especially when you don't give up big plays and explosive plays. And I thought that those units did a great job controlling that hidden yardage battle for us. I thought they responded from the challenge from the head football coach, and I couldn't be more proud of those guys, Riley and his whole crew.